Because the majority of our clients are in that elderly population, we do review elderly rights at least once a year with our caregivers so that they understand what those rights are when they are providing care to these clients. So, a person providing services to an elderly client is not has to make sure that they understand each of these rights. These rights are the ones that are provided to them when they are admitted, and they're also given to you at hire so that you understand what they are and know that any licensing agency, including us, make sure that these rights are insured for these clients when they are on service with us. An elderly person is entitled to have privacy. So this has to do with when you are in their home and others are in their home. If things are going on with their health condition, they have the right for you to keep those things to yourself if you overhear something. This has to do with HIPAA as well. So just make sure that you're respecting their privacy, not sharing it with your friends or anybody else that they have not authorized you to share things with. Elderly person has the right to participate in social activities. This is a part of keeping them healthy mentally as well as socially within their community. So just because they are older or may have medical issues going on, they have the right to go places such as church and all these other good places if they want to participate in community centers and things like that. That'll help keep their mental state of mind going. So we need to make sure that that is available to them and that they are not being restrained in any way from attending any activities that they want to attend. Elderly people also have the right to manage their own financial affairs. If they are fit and able and good to do that, then we should make sure that they have access to all of their money at any time. If a family member is in charge of those things and that elderly person has let them be in charge of that things, that's absolutely fine. But we need to make sure that they um, have those rights, that they know that they can have access to their money and that their money is not being abused by anyone. They have the right to look at their personal and clinical records at any time. As long as it's not going to cause them any harm, they can request at any time to review any records that we have for them and that their doctor has for them so that they can go back and look at their record if they feel like it is necessary. A person providing services needs to fully inform an elderly person in a language that they understand of their complete medical condition and shall notify them if there's any changes in their medical condition. This has to do with making sure that their things are not kept from them just because they're older. If they're sick or if they need to make a decision as far as what needs to happen next with their medical care, it is their right to understand what is going on and what their options are. An elderly person has all of the rights that are afforded to us in the United States and inside of our state. So we need to understand just because they are an older person does not mean that they have lost any of their rights. They also have the right to always be treated with dignity and respect. This has to do with their race, religion, whatever their national origin is, their age, even if they're disabled, they have the right to always be treated by us and anyone else around them with dignity and respect in their home and outside of their home. An elderly individual has the right to be free from any physical and mental abuse. Anytime that they are, anywhere in the United States, we have the right to not be abused, and they should as well. So we need to understand that they should not be restrained or hurt or emotionally abused or any time during their care or in their home when they are even not being provided care. Sometimes we do have elderly individuals and disabled individuals that are termed by the court as mentally incapacitated. That is the only time that a person may be in charge of that person's well being and is able to put in a behavioral modification plan where restraints are being used. Anytime outside of that, we are not allowed to restrain our client, and neither is any family member or any other person that might be in charge of their care. An elderly person has the right to participate in their care plan. This is definitely something that we do at our agency. So when we do that service plan with them, we make sure that they're involved and that they understand what services are being ordered for them, but also that they can participate in which services they want, when they want them to happen, and how they want them to happen. An individual may retain any of their personal possessions, including clothing and furniture, as space permits. This has to do with if they are moving into a facility or an apartment or something like that that might have certain space restraints. They still have the right to keep things that will make them feel comfortable and the things that they want to keep. They also have the right to, as long as they can afford it and things like that, to store the rest of their items. If they decide that they want to sell them, then that's fine, but we can't forcibly ask them to sell things that they don't want to get rid of. An elderly person may refuse to participate in services required. We did go over this in a previous training, but just because a service has been ordered for them by a physician or a service coordinator does not mean that they have to partake in that service. You, as an elderly person or a disabled person, you still have the right to say, no, I don't want that to happen, or I don't want that to happen right now. Just because it's on their care plan does not mean that we can force them into doing anything. An elderly individual may complain about his or her care or treatment. We also make them aware of this at admission and any time that we re-sign consent forms, what numbers there are that they can complain if they have an issue with the agency or with the caregiver that is providing those things. They can also call us, of course, but sometimes they feel like that needs to go up the chain or this is a problem with the entire agency. So they always have the right to report those actions to those regulatory boards if there's some sort of issue with any of the health being provided to them. A person providing services to an elderly person needs to understand that these rights are given to them at any time when they are admitted onto a service, and they're also provided to you, and you sign off saying that you understand them when you're hired. An elderly person does have those same rights as anyone else, so we need to make sure that they understand that those rights are entitled to them under the law, but also that you understand yourself when you're providing care that those rights are still theirs, and we should never, reduce those rights or try to take them away from them. It's a part of them being human beings in our nation, and we need to make sure that we're respecting them at all times. There is a short quiz that follows this training. After you complete this video, make sure that you jump back onto Paylocity and take that quiz. And that is it. If you have any questions as normal, then make sure that you call the office so that you can let us know and we can help you resolve through any questions or concerns that you have about your online training.